Going into '96, it was a combination of '94, you had the disappointment of Gary Ablett kicking that goal pretty much after the siren, and then the way we'd bowed out, I think there was a bit of a resolve there that we wanted to go that next step.
It's a hard lesson to learn, but it's a good lesson to learn because it builds up determination and desire to go on and strive for the ultimate in '96.
It just did give the group a real steely resolve about the way we went about our footy that year, and that we weren't going to let another opportunity slip.
The Melbourne will be premiers in 1996.
It wasn't a feeling of, that we're just there to, we've made the grand final now. It was really a feeling of now that we've made it, we really want to win it.
I remember having the conversation with Harry Unglick, and I think we went into Warringah Hospital. I had a heap of fluid drained from my knee. That he was actually, the way he was talking, that there was a pretty, not strong chance, but he was discussing that I probably shouldn't play. And I pretty much said to him straight away, I'm not going to miss.
The one thing that sticks in my memory from that year, from the '96 years, we had a dinner, which I can't remember when it was, whether it was 3/4 through the year or halfway through the year, and Ron Joseph came and spoke to us. And I actually can't even remember what he spoke about that night. I was trying to think about it the other day, but it was really good, Ron. The thing that I really took out of it was he took us out onto the ground, and it was dark at the MCG. There was a couple of sort of lights on, and he had a bag, and he had one of the Premiership cups from the '70s in the bag. And I'd never seen a Premiership cup, never touched one. And he sort of gave it to one of the players and said, just pass it round and just try and picture yourself this year making the grand final, and the feeling you get of holding the cup. And that was, I think that was a real turning point of the year, and just to hold a cup on the MCG, I know it worked for me and really spurred me on.
That was pretty inspiring, to be honest, and from that moment on, I think it was probably not grand final, it was before then, but from that moment on, it felt like there was a bit of destiny there amongst the boys.
The week of training was always, even though you had people around watching and getting autographs and interviews and so forth, I think over the first early couple of years we had a bit of experience from being in finals football, and that week training was always, we were pretty focused on training, just to concentrate for the other things around us, to really do the things that we had control over.
The news, it's Thursday today, so, it's getting closer to the game. So, ask me tomorrow, maybe even Saturday morning, and there could be a few more butterflies in the stomach. But I think once we actually get out in the ground, that'll all be forgotten. The game will go very quickly, and hopefully we're in front.
It was a sensational week. The training on the track was pretty light, the sunshine was out, the grass clippings, and you can always smell September in the air. And for me, I can remember the parade, many people around, and it was just an unbelievable week for the guys, and to have a close bunch of friends that you're able to experience that with, and over a long period of time that you'd spent together. It was just an awesome week. The grand final parade, that's when it really hits home. When you're driving through the streets of Melbourne, there's probably 100,000 people, screaming and chanting.
How are you enjoying this one?
Yeah, good mate. A few people here.
I'd had dreams that we'd see it sooner than this year, but I'm just glad that we're here now.
It's a really good memory to have, and even when you see the other teams doing it these days, and you think back and you get goosebumps thinking about it, and so it really was a special moment, yeah.
I just remember being happy to get to the ground, and being able to leave your family and your friends aside for probably the only time in your career that you're happy to leave them in the car park or underneath the grandstand there, and get in there with the guys that were probably going through the same sorts of things. And a lot of doubts running through your mind, a lot of expectation. You're not sure how you're going to go. Are you going to be a finals, grand final performer or not?
For all this fanfare and entertainment and things that is going on outside, when you're in the rooms you don't notice it. So it was pretty much preparation as per usual.
It's not until that first moment, and that's why it probably hits you so much when you run out the ground, that when you come up the race and then you see all the people and then that sort of wave of noise hits you, that's when it only really does feel like it's a different game to everything else that we usually play.
just felt like it was my first game. I'd already played probably 80, 90 games, but this was just something different, which of course it was grand final, but I remember running out of the race and the amount of noise, it was deafening.
For me, every week was a bit like that. I was still one of those guys who had to have a look around the ground and realise where you're actually at. You know, a couple of years before that I was at those games watching, my heroes, so it wasn't, it was definitely daunting because I was like that every week, and I think for your first 30 or 40 games you're often a spectate more than play.
When the anthem finishes and the crowd roars and the vibrations go through you, and it's just a feeling that you never forget, and it's just, yeah, like I said, an unbelievable feeling.
The first 15 minutes of the game, I just felt like I was a little bit all at sea, it was like a rabbit in the lights, so it took probably 15 minutes to settle down.